Hi there, I am so glad you stopped by. Thank you for tuning in to our energy report. My name is Sue Schoning. I'm from the Soul Lighthouse. I'm delighted to be here today talking about the energy that June has in store for us. It's one of these months that gives us a very deep question. Are we going to stay put? Are we going to stay the same? Or are we going to put in the hard work? Are we going to dig deep? And is it time for us to level up? You know, that's not a small question at all. Before we get into what June has in store for us, can I ask you, if you enjoy these energy reports that I put out, can you subscribe to the channel? Can you like the video? Can you refer it to your friends? The more the merrier. If you like what we are talking about here, if it gives you value, then please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. It would mean an enormous amount to me. But let's get into what this month is all about. And let me see if I can get the controls. Yeah, there I am. Okay, so here we are. And the question, as I said, for June 2019, are you going to level up? Are you going to improve your game? Are you going to do what is required to get to the next level? Or are you just going to stay put and go round and round in circles? This energy that we're in, June, from a numerological perspective, it resonates with a 6, stands to reason. We're in the 6th month. 2019, as we all know, it resonates with that energy of the 3. And we add those together in numerology, what it gives us is the 9. So what is that 9 energy about? Well, this is often a very, very confusing energy, because on the one side, it's all about cycles, it's all about endings, and there's a vulnerability that goes with endings. You know, sometimes we come to a point and there are endings and we have closure because we have planned it and it is part of the journey. And sometimes endings are forced upon us and we're not prepared for them and we don't want them and we don't like them. And so it pushes us into a space of deep vulnerability. Other things that this 9 energy is about, it makes us very often hyper aware. And so it's an energy that allows us to have peripheral vision. You know, so often we're looking at the journey that we're walking and we're only looking straight on. In a month that we are going into, it's almost as if we have that peripheral vision and we can see what's happening on the side. What it means is that we have more depth. What it means is that we're seeing more. What it means is that there are opportunities for very deep connection. It stands to reason, if we're just looking blinkered on, you only see some small perspective of the picture. But we take the blinkers away in June, and you start to see a far broader picture. And so as we're going into this month, be aware that there is more information that you're going to be receiving. There's more information about what is going on in your environment, in your situation, in the landscape. And so we need to pause before we make a decision. We can't just walk forward blinkered and blindly. We actually need almost to be in a space where we pause and we say, so what is all going on? What is really going on? It's not just this moment. What is really going on around me? So this is an energy that asks you to exercise that peripheral vision. This 9 energy that we have, as I said, sometimes it's actually confusing, because on the one side, this energy that we have is grounded, it's material, it keeps us in a world of materialism. You know, A plus B plus C, what comes next, what I need to do to survive in this world. But on the other hand, it carries this energy of deep connection and deep spirituality and deep universality. And so you can see that those are 2 very, very different energies. And what we often find is that they're almost like 2 worlds, where on the one side, we dash into this very, very grounded material, what is here on a bricks and mortar level, and everything else kind of falls by the wayside as we focus in on what needs to be done. And then we kind of step out of that world and we focus in on the connection and the spirit and the universal energy that we're feeling. And these are two very opposing, very different energies. And the danger of an energy like that is that we dive, think of them as swimming pools, we dive into the material, the reality, and we ignore our spiritual aspect, and we almost exclude it. So we're very, very focused in the here and now, and then we pull out of that and we dive into the other swimming pool where we're all about spirit. You know, the journey is about the left foot is in the real world and the right foot is in the universe, and we walk forward with what is here, here and now, and what is here from a spirit, from a connected perspective. And this is the dance that we need to perfect as we're going through this month. It's not all about, oh, money and materialism and what needs to be done here and now. And it's also not only about sit and meditate under the tree and nothing else needs to be done. It's about combining those two realities and combining them so that I walk forward, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Can you see how that would work? Because otherwise we end up in a space where we're just on the one side and we forget about the other aspect, or we're here and we forget all about that. And so the most important thing that we need to get into our understanding is this is a balancing act. June, as we go forward, it's actually a balancing act between my spiritual self and my real self, between what I need to do to survive and exist in my relationships and my job and my work and the money that I earn, but also what I need to survive in terms of the spirit, the soul, the center of who I am. This energy, because it is extreme, it has this ability, and this is one of the reasons why we need to exercise that peripheral vision, where there will be times this month that we will see things from an enormous high perspective, and we will be in a space where it's like, wow, this is grand, you can see forever. But you know that after every mountain, there comes a valley. And so there might be times where we find ourselves in the depths of, I can't see my next step and I don't know what I need to do because I'm in the valley. I can't see where it is that I need to go. And what we need to do is remind ourselves that after every valley, there is another mountain. This is the in-breath. This is the duality. This is this energy that says for every high, there is a low. For every mountain, there is a valley. And so wherever you are as you go through this month, whether you're in a space of, wow, this is great, it can't get any better than this, or, oh, this is terrible, it can't get any worse than this, because of the energy of that 9, it asks us to remember that this is a cycle. This is a cycle. In other words, this too will pass. And so be prepared as we go through this energy of June that it has the potential to be quite extreme. There can be some really high highs where we feel invincible and we feel incredible and we feel, at the top of our game. And then there can be times where we feel so sensitive and so depleted in energy and so powerless to see what's the next step, that it is really important to just hold on to this truth that within the extremeness that is being presented, within the feeling hypersensitive on both sides, comes this energy that it is all about cycles, and this too will pass. And this is why it's so important that we combine our spirit with the real world and our real world with our soul, so that we are going into this from a space of perspective. Remember, I spoke about the peripheral vision. what else is going on? What else is going on? So it's a very important energy to just be aware of, because if you look at that bubble that's on the screen right now, that in an intense energy, in an extreme energy, we can focus all of our energy just on that one bubble, and if that's our life, and that's what we're doing, and that's what's the only thing that's important right now. But just like bubbles on the surface of water, what happens is they burst. And we end up in a space where if we've just focused all our energy into this bubble, we're going to feel overwhelmed when it bursts. We're going to feel like it's drowning when it bursts. The message, of course, is to be in a space that says there are all these bubbles, and don't forget that the river is moving, and don't forget the movement. Don't just focus your energy in on one thing, because in a space like this, it will come to an end, so we have to be in a space where all our energy is going into our environment, our whole environment, not exclusionary focus to the point that nothing else exists, nothing else matters. And that's a very important message to hold with us as we go through this month. Having said that, it is also vitally important that we don't go into analysis paralysis. I'm saying to you, be aware what else is going on. I'm saying to you, be aware that there is cycles and whatever. But it is also incredibly important that we don't go into analysis paralysis. And I love this picture that I found of, why is my finger hurting? And we can do it. What does this mean? And what is the meaning of this? And my finger's turning blue, and I'm about to lose the nail. And what am I missing here? And sometimes the most obvious thing is take your finger out the bloody mousetrap. And instead of like, what is all this about, and what am I missing, and the universe is trying to tell me something, we need to be in a space where we use some of that material world common sense as well. Not everything asks us to sit and take it into meditation. Sometimes it's just like your finger's hurting because it's trapped in the mousetrap. And so this is also because in a month like June, we can get so introspective, when cycles end and we don't want them to, when things come to an end and we're not happy with it. We can go into all sorts of analysis of why and where and how and what am I missing and da 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 da, that we just stay stuck and we keep going round and round the circle again. So that sometimes the most obvious answer is the right one. My finger's hurting because it's stuck in a mousetrap. So just hold that awareness as well. And if you just think of these two pictures that I've got here as cogs in a machine, and that the cog is moving and it comes back to the point that it started off, and then what should happen is that the next cog kicks in and it starts to move. So you kind of have this energy as it moves, as it turns, and then it gets back to its starting point, and then the next cog kicks in. Have you got that image in your mind? Well, this is one of these spaces where we get to choose, and sometimes it's not conscious choice. We get to choose, are we going to go around and repeat the cycle again, or are we going to hop onto the next cog? And for some of us, we might find that this is a time where things that we have done before are actually coming out of the woodwork. I cannot tell you how many people I've spoken to in the last week who say, my ex got hold of me, or boyfriends, or old girlfriends, or people that I was at school with, a long time ago, or that there is a resurgence of past history coming up, and of who I was 20 years ago, or who I was 25 years ago. And sometimes it's toxic. and it doesn't do anything to edify or build us or develop us or grow us. It just puts us into a space of feeling inferior or feeling not good enough or feeling that there was something I missed that last time around, so I need to fix it this time, and maybe I need to go back and get hurt and wounded again. And so one of the things here is that when your past comes calling, if it comes calling with all these feelings of old inferiorities and pains and so on, yeah, we need to sort it out, but we don't need to go back into that toxic environment. We don't need to go back into that space. You know, if you've got yourself out of the fire from an old relationship or an old situation or an old environment that you were in, and it was burning you, when the past comes calling, don't go and put yourself back in the fire. You know, sometimes we do this and we say, oh, I need to sort out this issue because here comes this inferiority, or here comes this pain, or here comes this core wound. And we go back into it and we pull the scab off it again. And it starts bleeding and we say, oh, look, I'm still not healed from it. And for me, sometimes I think it's like we broke our leg somewhere along the line and it hurt, and we had to fix it. And then when it comes calling again, we kind of say, I wonder if my leg has healed. I wonder if it's still broken. And we kind of bash it until it breaks again. And we go, yep, it's still weak. Be careful of that syndrome. Be careful of, I've really got to go in and pull off scabs and I've got to break my leg all over again. I've got to go and stand in the fire, because if I was healed, the fire wouldn't burn. If I was healed, then my leg wouldn't break. If I was healed, then when I go digging in the wound, it wouldn't bleed. Be very careful of that, because I think in a time like this, it is so important to be in a space where we recognize that we re-wound ourselves. And especially, are we going to stay put in our wounding, or are we going to level up? Sometimes, like that picture of the mousetrap that I had up, sometimes the most obvious is you're hurting because you broke your leg again. You're hurting because your finger's in the mousetrap. Let's not go back into the wound. Let's move forward. You don't need to heal by going back and reliving it. You don't need to heal by going back and reliving it. And you know that whole thing of, we all have a story and we all need to honor our story, but we don't need to keep retelling it and retelling it and retelling it and retelling it, because all we do is we wound ourselves over and over and over again. A very important message for June. Very, very important message. So in a nutshell, as I come to the ending of this little energy report, this month that we're going into, it's all about wrapping up. It's all about closure. Remember, sometimes when things come to an end, we don't get the closure. We don't get to call the shots of when things end. This is an ending of a cycle. So just be aware as you're going through this month, what is a natural ending? And what is an ending that I don't have closure on, but it's an ending anyway? And what is an ending that I didn't choose and it's happening? Because this is being in a space where we recognize that sometimes there are power plays that go along with endings. Sometimes there are power plays even within ourselves, even within ourselves. And sometimes when it hurts, we want to escape from reality. Don't want to do this. This is too much. Don't want to deal with this. Denial, push it away. And so we go into an escape from reality. And that just pushes us into duality. And of course, this month, because it is the material world on the one side and the spiritual world on the other, it just smacks, it just echoes with duality. So just kind of be aware of this energy. We want to stay aware of the big picture. Remember that peripheral vision that I keep talking about? We want to stay aware of the big picture. And if you look at that picture that's on the screen right now, for me, what it means is, don't get so engrossed in taking the picture, with your little handy, your little mobile camera, that you're actually ignore the fact that you're going to get run over by the tram. You know, be very aware of the big picture. Don't get so hyper focused into the nitty gritty detail. This is a month of being aware of the big picture and seeing your place in the big picture and seeing the big picture's place within you. So it is preparing us, let go of what needs to be let go of. You know, those little backpacks and suitcases and bricks that we're carrying from our past. You can't carry them when you're climbing up the mountain because they're just going to drag you down. So this is about saying, let's put down what needs to be put down. I actively choose what needs to be put down so that I am ready for this level up, for this leveling up. It is such a powerful, powerful month because this, when we're asked to level up, it really asks us to become aware of who it is that we're emerging into. And so a very, very deep soul question here. Am I ready to level up? Am I ready to step up? Am I ready to put down everything that keeps me small, keeps me broken, keeps me wounded, keeps me going round and round in circles in the same paradigm, same story? Am I ready to write a new chapter? So an exciting month, sensitive month, aware month, conscious month. And I want to really, really finish with this picture because it spoke to me so much when I saw it. And you know, I spoke to you about the cogs, you know, that the cogs, I chant, the cog goes round, and then as it comes back to its starting point, it kicks another cog into being. I want you to imagine that that is in your throat chakra. And we know that our throat chakra, it's all about communication. And we know that it's all about being in a space where we communicate and we express. It's also the center of our will. So it's about what I see and the decisions that I take. And, you know, the stubbornness that sits in here that says, I'm going to keep saying the story again and again and again. This energy here, this center of communication, imagine that those cogs are sitting there and they are turning now. And as they turn and they come back to full center, they ask the question that says, are you willing to change your story? Are you willing to grow the story? Are you willing to step into the next consciousness of who you are? Are you willing to connect to a deeper part, a greater part of who you are? Are you willing to put that into action so that you don't go around and repeat the same story? You actually click into the next cog. This is asking us stay conscious. Where? Stay conscious in that throat chakra, conscious of what it is you hear, what it is you internalize, what it is you believe, what it is you choose to believe, what it is you say. And am I ready to level up? Keep that question. What is it that I need to do to level up in this situation? What is it that I need to do to stay conscious in this environment, in this relationship, in this encounter? And this is how we go through June. So I hope that this message, short and sweet, I hope it resonated with you. As I say, if you like these energy reports, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It would mean so much to me. And I wish you a really conscious journey through June. If you want to know how this blanket energy that we have that is throbbing through the month, if you want to know how it deals with you, how it dances with you specifically, get hold of me. We'll spend some time together and we will do our one-on-one discovery together and see how this dances with your unique situation. But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so glad you stopped by, and I will be back with you soon. But until then, have a conscious, beautiful, glorious June. Bye for now.